Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of College Town Talk. I'm Shan Stout.
And I'm Jonathan Frank.
Jonathan, July 4th may have come and gone, but I'm still feeling quite patriotic. A 250th birthday party, really, it can't be confined to one day anyway. And our guest today has a very appropriate name for this occasion. Today we're talking with Thomas Payne.
Shan, you mean the philosopher and founding father who helped inspire the American Revolution?
Even better. We're talking to Dr. Thomas Payne, the Dean of Tennessee Tech's nationally ranked College of Business, who helps inspire students to become Tennessee's next generation of business leaders.
Well, and as an added bonus, this Thomas Payne is very much alive.
That's a win-win. Dean Payne has led the College of Business at Tennessee Tech since 2015, but his service in higher education spans 35 years. Now, prior to his career in higher ed, he worked for two Fortune 500 companies, Texas Instruments and Rockwell International, as an electrical engineer, and that's not too bad for someone as young as he is. Last fall, he led the college to its highest enrollment in a decade at more than 1,400 students. Our community felt that impact. He's also the 2026 president of the Southern Business Administration Association, and that's a consortium of deans and faculty business leaders from more than 140 higher education institutions. And while he may not be a founding father, he does know a lot about them because, fun fact, he is a major history buff. Dean Payne, welcome to College Town Talk.
Well, thank you, Shan. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
Well, you know, I've met some of your students over the years in my capacity as director of tourism, and we've had some of them intern with us. They are smart, prepared, and ready to work. So I suspect one of the reasons why that is the case is that more than 90% of students in the College of Business engage in resume-building experiential learning opportunities while they're still in school. And we have benefited from that. I have seen this process in real time play out. We've talked on this show in the past about some of the real-world opportunities the college has provided for these students, from semester-long projects, partnerships with small businesses like the Exceptional Bean, Jamie's Eats and Sweets, to larger organizations and companies like HCA, Averett, UCDD, the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, Disney, Pew CPAs, Wilson Bank and Trust, Howerman, and the list goes on, and also the Visitors Bureau. We had marketing students design our new logo platform that was produced on merchandise for our visitor shop and welcome centers. So why has this experiential learning been so important to you as a dean, and what do you believe students gain from these opportunities?
Oh, that's great, Shan, and I really appreciate the comments, and I think you said it better than I could. You really explained why experiential learning, and I think for our audience, it might be helpful to kind of say, hey, what does that really mean? It's kind of one of those higher ed terms. We say experiential learning. Well, what do we really mean by it? And it includes things that you would expect, the internships. We take students to professional conferences where they interact with folks that have been in the industry, and whichever industry it might be, for quite some time. And then, as you said, we work a lot, the students do, with what we would call real-world projects with companies, or what we say today, live projects. They're things that the companies are actually working on. We also do a lot with travel study, with case studies in the classroom. So a lot of it is what we would call co-curricular or extracurricular, but a lot of it is really curricular. We do it within the context of the class. So we're almost kind of back to the future with some of this, because with case studies and now higher tech with the simulations that really give real-world feel to what's going on in the classroom. And, something that is always in common with anything that we call experiential learning and those types of activities is that students have to work together. They have to work in a team, and they may be working with professionals in their teams as well. And so it's really learning by doing. And I think there's one way that really kind of describes that, or one term, and that is that it's sticky. Learning is the learning that they do that way, or that they receive that way, is really sticky. It sticks with them.
Yes.
And they can fail, they succeed, they do it again. And that's where the real learning takes place.
And I will also say, I had a student tell me not too long ago, they said, I just really hate team activities. And I said, listen, if you hate team activities, you're going to hate every job you have in the future. You need to learn to love that now. You will always work with someone that either is overachieving, underachieving, or you're equal. Those are your three choices.
Yes.
And so you have to learn, regardless who your teammates are in the workspace, how to work with their different skill sets, because they may be better at something else than you, and you may be the best one at another thing, but your way is not the only way. And so they were like, oh, I haven't thought about it that way. They just thought it was a hideous thing in their assignment is having to work with other people.
Have to.
Yes. And so very important.
Yes. And, to your point, we also integrate a lot of things where they do have to give a summary, or they actually have to give a presentation in front of people, and sometimes they're very nervous about that. I was that way. And what I always tell them, and what our just outstanding faculty have them do this, and we tell them that here it's practice. It really is.
You don't want to do this for the first time in the workplace.
Right. And yes, you get a grade, and yes, you get the stress, but that stress also has a positive effect because, you're really motivated.
Absolutely.
You want to do a good job. And the more you do, the better you get.
Yes.
And so that's part of that experiential learning as well.
I love that.
We in OCM have kind of had a window into so many of these experiential learning activities that the College of Business does, because we've done stories in many cases on them. And there's so many good ones. I think I do have a favorite though, which is in Dr. Jeremy Shane's class.
Yes.
I know they kind of spend this really the whole semester. He challenges them to do this one big kind of culminating activity to raise money for a nonprofit of their choice. And these students have raised money for the Exceptional Bean, for the Putnam County Animal Shelter, for the Red Cross, national organizations that they care about, and then they have to give a presentation at the end of the semester. And Yasmin Williams from the College of Business and I got to sit in on them at the end of spring semester, and I just always come away so impressed with not just their presentation skills, but like the dollar amounts that they've raised, the care that they put into it. And it's just a testament to, because for most of them, they've done it before they get to Dr. Shane's class, because there is such a focus on experiential learning in the College of Business.
Oh, John, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I've gotten to experience that as well. Dr. Shane's invited me in, and it's very moving. Because the students really buy in and they believe in what they're doing. They have a passion for it, and it's really a good way for them to learn. And they have to approach other people. They have to come up with a project. How is this really going to work? And so it has been one of those great experiential learning activities that we do within the context of the classroom.
Well, I want to shift gears and ask for your thoughts on another topic, which is AI, because this is something on which you've really been a leader and a trendsetter. You were interviewed about the AI outlook in higher education by the Nashville Business Journal, and you brought one of the foremost leaders in AI, Zach Cass, the former head of go-to-market at OpenAI, to the College of Business's fall celebration dinner. And I had a chance to go to that and hear him speak, and he was a hit with the students. So what do you see as the role of the College of Business and of today's business students in this new frontier?
Oh, you're so right. It's really changing our world, and it's something that we have really started to integrate and now are more fully integrating into our teaching and the way that we prepare. The way that we prepare classes, the way that students interact. And, it has really opened up so much in the way of opportunity, not just in the degrees. We have new degrees on campus, and including one over in computer science. It is a Bachelor of Science in AI, and in the business college, more in that application space, that direct application space of business AI and analytics. But, really, it's all analytics in that space. And it's how do you go about solving problems and using tools as powerful as AI to do it. I think our challenge is going to be in that particular space with this new technology. And by the way, we have done this before, maybe not to this degree or at this speed, but we went from using tables to using slide rules and calculators, depending on our various fields. And then we moved to high-speed computing, and we've done all that. So we've had changes take place. And even in the knowledge world, back in the day, it was the encyclopedia. You had that.
Yes.
And then, fast forward just a few years, and we're using Google, and now we're using, to obtain information, we're using AI. Or maybe better said, we're using intelligent assistants to have us solve problems. And this is going to be our challenge, because the students have to know, and all of us have to know, what it is that the problems that we're really trying to solve, and have contextual knowledge of it. So in other words, if a student is in finance, or if they're in marketing, or if they're in any of our other fields, in management, any of those fields, they need to have a fundamental understanding of the field in order to ask really good questions. And they have to have a way and a proclivity toward problem solving. So we've got to put problems in front of them. We've got to ask them to solve them. We've got to teach and learn with them in a way to ask very good questions and use AI in that kind of iterative way.
And edit the output. I mean, that's what we're seeing in our business models right now, is people who don't edit the output.
Absolutely.
AI is not perfect.
And
it's
it
just
is an
fast.
iterative process, right? I mean, in other words, you ask the first question, you don't get exactly what you're looking for. You have to know enough about it to ask the next question. And the interesting thing, and this is just a, kind of personal viewpoint and kind of looking ahead for higher ed and our applications in industry, is that as we do this particular tool is it can accelerate learning. So you think about a lot of the learning that we did, and we mentioned earlier my undergraduate's in electrical engineering, and I remember, it was difficult. I was looking at Maxwell's equations, and I'm staring at them, and they're not helping me. And I'm thinking, how good would it have been to have had AI, and I could ask it, could you derive Maxwell's equations for me? And then if I didn't understand how they did it, I could say, could you dumb it down a little?
Yes.
And so I think in that way, it will be somewhat accelerated on the learning side. But the harder part, I believe, is for us today, it's still that the soft skills are harder. And so while we might learn technical information and obtain that and learn facts faster and be able to put things in tables and those kinds of things, the way that we interact with each other, our communication skills, our teamwork skills, all of those things are still going to require a little bit of time. And there again, we get back to kind of the real world experiential learning interactive process.
Well, it sounds like you've got a pulse on all of this and that our students are in good hands. Now, Dean Payne, anyone who has visited Tennessee Tech in recent years knows that this is a campus on the move. And the College of Business is no exception. So I'm not surprised that Tennessee Tech is doing you guys up right. You're in the midst of a massive renovation of your longtime home over in Johnson Hall. We've seen some of the renderings. It looks like the finished product's going to be fantastic, but this is going to be a state-of-the-art space for business students here at Tech. So what can you tell us about what you know about the renovations for Johnson Hall? What are you most looking forward to about getting back into this new space?
Oh, that's fantastic. And, the new space, and our faculty are excited about it, our staff, our students. And I've got to tell you, just something on this before we talk about the building a little bit, that it has, the lesson that I've learned in the time that we've been out of the building.
Which is hard.
We've learned a lot. But the time that we've been out, it has been so validating and so uplifting of how good our people are. Our faculty, our staff, and our students have really come together. And we learn things by being over in Foundation Hall over there with Jonathan. We have learned things. For one, the students really, they do enjoy congregating and being together, so that it has those big hallways over there. So we designed in spaces like that in the new Johnson Hall. I can tell you that the new building, we still refer to it as that, even though it's a major renovation, because the whole building has been gutted. I've seen it, from that stage, and now seeing the walls go up internally, on the inside of the building, and the state of the art that this building is going to be a true business building. In our business, you need really good people. We've got them. We've got them. You need facilities and you need resources. And we've got great friends that provide all of those. And we're so excited about getting back in. Just a couple of features that the folks may be interested in. We do have a forensics lab. It's the only one in the state of Tennessee that is going in that IT forensics lab. And so if you lose information, on your computer, we actually had some folks working after the tornado to recover data, and they did for some people in town. And so just, that type of activity going on there. And then we have a new behavioral lab where we're very interdisciplinary, and all these folks are working across disciplines. That includes, marketing, from management to finance, economics. We have a new behavioral lab. Why do people make the decisions that they do? And this is about consumer behavior. It's also about economic behavior. Why do people do what they do and make the decisions they do? And of course, you can see how it would apply in my particular field in finance, how that would apply as well. So we're very excited about that. And the faculty are too. And the cool thing about it, the really good thing about it, is this came from the faculty. And this was something of a faculty idea, faculty proposal. And, I'd love to take credit for it, but Sam.
Well, because of the College of Business's national rankings and their track record on your watch, you're not just moving toward basically a brand new building. You've also attracted a lot of major gift support. And we interviewed Thomas Lynn on this program a while back about a generous donation he made to the PRL Center. And we've been working with your team on what I think will be a really cool story about a couple who has made a transformational gift to the college. I'll leave it at that because I want you to, you can tell us the rest, because this is pretty cool. So what can you tell us about this latest gift?
Yes. And first, the Thomas Lynn gift, and with his wife, Kay, and his sister, Pam, and of course, her husband, Danny, this is great too. This is transformative as well, this gift, because it goes to a lot of what we've been talking about, and that's our professional readiness and leadership unit that we have that's very unique in our college, where our students get a lot of training. They get a lot of, we're doing mock interviews now, and some of our board members are participating in that, so that should be fun for them as well. But that type of activity is going on down there, and with what we call our Level Up program, where we are using AI and we're tracking what the students are doing and what they've done, so they develop kind of a portfolio, very resume specific type items. So all of this is helping us, and not just our clothes closet, but the clothes closet's part of that. And that gets us to Thomas Iovino. And so that gift, Thomas and Judith Iovino, a very transformative gift that we've just received. And, the backstory on that is it's really reflective of our culture, and who we are. Because we're very high tech, but at the same time, we have a very high level of personal touch. Mm. And so a few years ago, Jonathan had mentioned one of our speakers. We had one a few years before that. And if y'all remember, they had this big scandal about what they called varsity blues. And everybody was cheating to get in and saying that they were world-class rowers. They never rowed a boat in their life, or, whatever. But they were cheating to get in the Ivy Leagues and USC, places like that. And so we had a speaker that had come a few years before. And Peggy Noonan had actually come, and she had a great experience at Tennessee Tech and was one of our fall celebration speakers. And Peggy is she's a journalist. She's written biographies on Reagan and others, but she is a regular columnist for the Wall Street Journal. And this was years, y'all, after she came, a couple of years after, and Varsity Blues happened. And she remembered Tennessee Tech, the College of Business, and the experience that she had. And she called then our development director, or our director of engagement, and she said, I just couldn't get you all off my mind, and I'm going to write a column. And she wrote a column, and for the Wall Street Journal, 2 million circulation.
Yes,
right?
just a tiny audience.
Right? And I've always said, you can't buy that kind of advertisement,
No.
but you can sure make more copies. but so, she wrote that, and it was so heartfelt and so genuine. And she, one of her lines in the column was that, Tennessee Tech is an amazing school and nobody cheats to get in. And she talked about the students, and she talked about how well prepared they were and how they made friends, and they do. And so it was interesting that Thomas, this is a day of Thomases, I think, right? but Thomas read the column. And he found out through the column that we had a clothes closet for students that maybe they didn't have a suit or didn't have one that day.
Yes.
And they can come to the closet, and we really, we'll serve folks all across campus. And so he had read that, and he started donating.
Wow.
Some pretty good suits.
I'm sure they were very nice.
I'm down there looking around.
Those are some lucky students.
This is so true. And so he did, and that's how he got connected. And then, of course, our professional readiness and leadership director with Sherry Cannon was very appreciative, and they kind of got connected there and learned more about the school, came and visited, and that's how the gift occurred. And this particular gift is one that is very, I think, in his background, Jonathan, you may have gotten into this conversation with him, but he had somebody that really meant a lot to him. As a mentor, as a teacher. And so what he wanted to give it to were people who were really dedicated, and he wanted it primarily for teaching faculty, the ones that are really doing a lot more of the teaching.
How lovely.
And so, and doing things for the students. And so we look forward to the announcement to name that individual, and they are just doing fantastic work. And so I know that he'll be proud of what his gift is doing for Tennessee Tech and most importantly, our students.
Well, Dean Payne, this has already been so much fun, but it's about to get even more fun.
Oh, great.
Because it is time for rapid fire questions. So this is the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you a few quick questions, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Now, don't chicken out.
Okay.
All right. Number one. Favorite off-campus spot in Cookeville?
Okay. This one's actually fairly easy. I spend a lot of time at the All Good Diner.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
Yep. They're probably 2 or 3 mornings a week.
Way to commit. Now, if you were not serving as Dean of the College of Business at Tennessee Tech, your career would be...
Oh, by the way, I've got to pitch a little bit on Big Tony's.
Oh,
that's
listen,
another one.
Big Tony's.
I've got a few more, but those, yes, very conveniently located.
Okay, so back to the question 2. If you were not serving as the dean in your current position, you would be?
Oh, I think you hit on it. I love history. And I love the context that it brings, and I think so important for our students. One of my mantras is that when I talk to students, we had governor's school this last month, and I told those students, high school students, that in order to lead, you've got to read. And it doesn't need to be just the things that where your areas of expertise are, but things you're interested in.
Yes.
And for me, it was history and getting a context and realizing that people that came before you had to make tough, real-time decisions. And looking back, it looks like, oh, well, that wasn't that hard, but it was.
Oh, yes.
And so
because you didn't see the ending. You didn't know how that decision was going to turn out.
Right.
Okay, question 3. The fellow dean most likely to make you laugh in the middle of a dean's council meeting.
Oh, make me laugh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. I would have to say it would probably be Dean Joe Slater. and sometimes it's not intentional. Wasn't trying, but no, he is a great individual, great leader in his own right, and just been a super colleague over the years. But yes, he has that power.
Well, it's great to have fun at work. And
Yes.
finally, your best advice for new or prospective business students.
Oh, very good. Well, I would say first that you should get engaged, be proactive. Don't take that for granted. Use your time to find those things and to seek out those things that challenge you, things that you're interested in. Discover a few things that you haven't really thought about. And if you're not good at something, maybe do a little bit of it.
I told a
try it out.
student recently, I said, if you're not failing at something in school, you're probably not doing school right. You need to try new things that are pushing your boundaries, not just taking the easy path of things you already know. And, failure, you can learn a lot
You sure do.
from learning something brand new.
We do. We do at that. And to find a mentor and find people that they trust, that they can talk to, and build those relationships with fellow students, with faculty. And we have opened those doors for them. And we have moved our faculty into more of a very active and proactive mentorship program. We talk about advisement. We've got a great student success center that does wonderful advising and gives both scheduling advice and also as mentors themselves. But our faculty now, both in groups and individually, are doing things to engage the students in things that they may be interested in their professional life and in their college life.
Dean Payne, we have so enjoyed this conversation today. And in the short time we have left, we like to end each interview on this podcast with the same question. What is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
Oh, well, that one is, it's very meaningful to me because Tennessee Tech has given me an opportunity to get to know and work with some fantastic people, and it has allowed me to grow and really expand. I think we constantly in our lives reinvent ourselves and we challenge ourselves. And, from chapter to chapter in our life, Tennessee Tech has provided that growth opportunity, that family opportunity. What a wonderful place to live is Cookeville. And the colleagues that I've met across campus these past 11 years or so plus now have been wonderful, both as colleagues and as friends. And so I think developing those relationships and being able to make a difference, and hopefully most of those are positive differences in the lives of other people. I think that's what we're here for.
It's a very positive difference, and a very positive difference you've made in the life of the university. And we're so glad that you came on our program today. And I know you guys are eager to get to the new Johnson Hall, but I'm glad you guys are in Foundation Hall with us right now, too, as well.
Well, and like I say, it's all about the people.
So, Dean Payne, thanks so much for being our guest today on College Town Talk.
Well, thank you all.
And for our listeners, if you're enjoying our show and hearing from Tennessee Tech administrators like Dean Thomas Payne, would you do us a tiny favor and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get this podcast? It all helps to spread the word about the great things happening right here in Cookeville.
We'll meet you back here again next week for more conversations with the people who make Cookeville, Tennessee's college town. College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau and Stonecom Radio. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.